So it's been a while since I made a devlog about my upcoming game, Castlemancer, which you should definitely go wishlist over on Steam. I've had a lot of personal stuff come up, my full-time job has been really busy. I went and interviewed like 20 indie game developers over at PAX West, and I released a couple videos about that, so definitely check those out if you are interested in sort of just on the street style, just interviews with game developers. And I was trying to get a demo out of Castlemancer for the Steam NextFest in October, but more on that later. This video is sponsored by .fun domains, but more on that later. So I wanted to make a quick devlog about Castlemancer and some of the progress that I've been trying to accomplish throughout the last few months, as well as some different packages, tools, and libraries that have been really helping me out with a lot of the game development progress of it, just in case you're interested in potentially speeding up your timeline if these packages are applicable to you. As some quick context, since it's been a while, Castlemancer is a roguelike deck builder where you play as the Archmage or the Professor of Castle Conjure that seems to have a problem with getting sieged, and it's your job to defend it. The last version I properly showed was about 4 or 5 months ago, so it looks really different from what I showed back then. The main gameplay loop I was working around previously was that you have some starter deck, and as you kill enemies, you gain XP to unlock more cards. Pretty simple, all while trying to balance resources. But ultimately, when I was testing this out, it felt like it was missing something interesting and unique to make it more fun, which is also why I've been delaying playtesting it, because I already know it's not that fun, or it needed something else. But I've made some major changes to this whole philosophy that I'm hoping will give it kind of a unique spin on the roguelike deck builder space. First, most resource management is gone. I realized it wasn't super fun and felt like it was an unnecessary handicap for no reason. Instead, there is one resource, which is apprentices or students, which I will talk about more in a bit. Second, instead of just getting cards as a reward from defeating enemies, which is a gameplay loop but a pretty basic one, you will admit students to become apprentices at your magical academy or your magical castle. These apprentices are essentially the deck building aspect of the game, as depending on who you admit, you'll gain access to different spells, bonuses, and synergies. Also, as with any school, drama might start between students depending on different personality traits. Therefore, in this sort of system, the apprentices/students are essentially the resource you have to almost indirectly manage. Then there will be various events that I had in some of the earlier iterations of the game. These events I hope will be able to add some additional randomness and challenge to every run when it comes to managing your apprentices. So I think this system feels a lot more fun and unique compared to what I had before, almost staying pretty true to the original vision of the game. Additionally, another major change that I mentioned more in detail in either the prior video to this one or the video after this one, depending on when I release these, was that I was just going to have a single camera view of the game field, which was originally just going to be a visual display of the cards you were playing, but really had no effect on some of the things you would be seeing on the screen. So I completely overhauled this system. There are now 2 primary views inside your castle, which is like the prep phase before every fight. You can reassign students, talk to NPCs, just hang out, and then there is the action phase, which is kind of the attack field view, where you will be granted all of the benefits from the enrolled students. And then even further, if you're playing an attack spell like Frostbolt, for example, you will actually be able to target exactly which enemies to hit, making the whole card-based gameplay slightly more engaging. So those are the key differences, and hence why it's taking a while. My original concept of this game was literally just to be almost like a text-based adventure game with pictures, and it's completely evolved from that, which brings me to the Steam NextFest that was on October 8th. I was trying to get a demo out for that, and I had a relatively playable game almost ready, but it wasn't as polished as it needed to be, or as fun as it needed to be. And it was before I implemented this whole new apprentice system of gameplay. So I decided to just push it out until I had a really polished demo, because first impressions really do matter. I also wanted to quickly mention some of the tools I picked up to help me with the development timeline as a solo dev team. Also, I'm not affiliated with any of these, I just think they're great and deserve a shout out. The first is called Feel. It's basically a package that makes it really easy to add some nice game feel, whether it's particles, camera shakes, zooms, colors, really anything to make the game have a little more charm. I've only just scratched the surface, but it's a really powerful tool. The second tool I picked up is A-Star Pathfinding Pro. I've previously used the free version, but decided to just buy the pro version while it was on sale. It's a great package that really simplifies creating pathfinding AI to move around your world, and there are tons of different behaviors like patrolling, local avoidance, random movements, and more. Ultimately, this just saves a ton of time when it comes to implementing some more tedious AI movement behaviors and obstacle avoidance. The final tool I bought was the text animator for Unity. From some of the demos I saw, it seems like this makes dialogue effects super punchy and easy to implement without having to build an entire library yourself. I haven't got the chance to implement this yet, but from some of the games it's used in, it looks really impressive. And my goal with all of these tools and libraries is to basically just make my life easier, and I don't need to reinvent the wheel for solutions that mostly solve certain functionality I want to add, and likely in a better and more streamlined way. So I'm still a one-man dev team and YouTube team out here, so my plate is full, but we're getting there. Also, please wishlist the game if you're interested, as it really helps generate organic traffic as it grows in wishlists. Thanks. I wanted to quickly mention one way I'm thinking of distinguishing my indie game Castlemancer from others, and that's with this video's sponsor, .fun domains. I've mentioned .fun domains before, and recently I even updated my website with featured game screenshots and even built-in embedded video with my most recent devlog. This way I can direct people easily to all relevant links, and you can see all of that at castlemancer.fun. .fun domains is a great way to create a memorable brand domain name, so you can direct people to all relevant links, social media, newsletters, Steam page, etc. like I was working on before. Visit www.get.fun and use code Castlemancer where you can get a .fun domain for 90% off. Thank you to .fun domains for supporting the channel. I didn't want to forget, we do a bad British accent at the end of every video. Leave any video suggestions in the comments below. That's all from me, and hopefully I see you in another one. Bye-bye.